So, I'm back again with some more places that we're going to go and check out today in Flight Simulator 2020. So first of all, we're starting out from Whangaparoa, and we're going to be flying out to the east over Long Bay and the other east bays, and then we're going to head north and we're going to check out Whangaparoa, and then maybe fly by Waiwera, and then head out towards the Great Barrier Islands. So we'll fly over Little Barrier Island before finally landing on Great Barrier Island. So I've already flown there before, but I wasn't recording it, and it looks pretty good. So I've set the weather again to be some clouds, but pretty clear, and we'll just get a move on. So parking brake released. Let's get up in the air. So we're actually taking off to the north, so we'll be turning to our right. So start heading towards Albany. We're currently getting 25 frames per second. Quite a few people in the air today. Looking over towards West Auckland. There's Auckland Harbour. Hobsonville. And we should also be going over Herald Island. If I can find it. That should be it down there. I've got a little bit of a cloud here. Okay, now we've got some altitude. Let's start heading towards Albany, which we can see in the distance. That is the shopping mall. I should trim out the plane. So I've got it set to real time right now. So it's 4:51 in the afternoon. Although it's quite cloudy right now, so not the real weather, unfortunately. So that should be green height below us. I keep finding water treatment centers in this game. Quite easy to spot. There's another one. It's an overspeed warning. We'll just slow down a little bit. Come out to the left. So we're going over Albany Highway. There's a golf course. There's the new stadium. Well, I don't think it's that new anymore. But you can see the shopping mall complex. Albany Village. Below us. This is Massey University, which has some pretty nice architecture in real life. and distinctive terracotta style roofs. So they've got that right, but all of these buildings are a little bit off. Quite a bit off, to be honest, actually. And there's the northern motorway. And now we're heading out towards Tor Bay and Long Bay. And this here is Browns Bay. Browns Bay Village. So I think there's a supermarket in this area. And then there's the beach. But there's far too many trees here. This area is a little bit less trees than that. Well, there are some trees here. A lot of nice places to go and have lunch there. That's the supermarket. Here's the beach. It looks a lot nicer in person. It's not too bad though. Some more very expensive houses over by the cliff. You also have to have pretty good insurance, I think, in case the erosion takes your house into the ocean. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. So if you guys live in this area, please drop a comment and I'll come and have a barbecue at your house. Now we should be coming up on, I believe this should be Long Bay that we're flying over now. You can see Whangaparoa there, the peninsula. Let's just turn around, get a good look. Long Bay is a very popular destination in summer. Many car parks over here. A lot of new housing being set up in this area. All quite expensive though. So it's not bad. There are quite a few trees here. And there's some like picnic areas with rooftops, which I think you can see there. Although I think they've picked it up as a house. Well, that's actually just a roof and some posts for you to have your lunch under. And then this little estuary that comes down this way. Very nice. I think you can walk along the top here. I've flown my drone in this area. Okay, so let's go and check out Whangaparoa. A couple of you guys have been asking to have a look. So Whangaparoa is quite a nice place to live. The commute time isn't too bad, especially to Albany. A lot of people I work with live here. The only thing that's a bit problematic is it's basically one way in, one way out the main road, so it tends to get quite congested. in peak times. It is a very beautiful area. So just come around. So this is Stanmore Bay, I believe. This area that we're flying over. And that's the main road, I think. A few shops in there. So follow the road along. Nice little river down there. More shops. Nice looking beach there. Great view out across to the mainland. So up at the end of Whangaparoa is Gulf Harbour. So we're heading that direction. There are a lot of nice beaches here. Really great place to go for a bike ride. Some more boat parking. Again, a lot of these boats are underwater. Rest in peace boats. I think this should be Gulf Harbour. And apparently there's a country club somewhere down here. Pretty fancy. All of these places have their own private boat park. I wonder if those are residential. Looks very cool. And at the end of the Whangaparoa Peninsula is a place called Shakespeare Regional Park, which is a really awesome place to go for a walk. There's a really nice beach and some hills that you can walk around. Let's have a look, see what we can see. I think this is the really nice beach. I think you might park in this area. And I've personally walked up along this path to this place. And it's a really nice little area to have a bit of a picnic. It's pretty steep, the hills though, actually. But this spot's quite nice. You can see the beach. Bring some binoculars. Okay, so we'll cut back in and have a look at Waiwera. And as we go past, I'll get some more views of Whangaparoa. In the distance you can see Rangitoto. Looks like there's a boat. That's a very long render distance there. Seems like a container ship. So I think this should be Waiwera. Not 100% sure. Let's have a look at the map. So here, Waiwera. Oh no, Waiwera is after this little part. So this is Red Beach that we just looked at. And then this is Waiwera. So after this little inlet. Yeah, that didn't look much like Waiwera. This is Red Beach, I think. Is that actually there, I wonder? Okay, and then we've got an inlet, and this should be Waiwera. There's a bunch of shops along the waterfront, and a really long beach, which is a very nice one. Yeah, that's what Waiwera looks like. And there's a McDonald's and a library somewhere, which is where I always end up going when I come along here. I think that might be over there somewhere. So the beach is a lot wider than that. Seems a bit skinny. A lot of shops there. And then if we follow this road, we're heading towards Waiwera. So Waiwera was a childhood favorite for many. They had so many water slides. It's basically a water park. I think it was New Zealand's biggest one, or at least most famous. and I used to go there in the summer, and it would be packed with kids going down their slide. And it should be just on the other side of, I think, this hill. Let's have a look. So you'd come up, drive along here. And there's always a big hill where all the trucks would have to go really slowly. So I think Waiwera is in here. And then there's a big hill here. And all of the traffic going northeast have to come this way, but then they put a big tunnel through the mountains in that area. And now there's a toll road. So you can still go this way for free, or you can go through the tunnel and save about 15 minutes off your journey. So yeah, Waiwera was in this area, and it's still there, but it's completely abandoned. So we can have a look and see the complex. So they had a bunch of indoor pools, and then they had heaps of water slides. I think there were at least 5. Used to be really scary as a little kid, going down the really intense water slides. But someone, I think, bought it or stopped. They just like closed it down. I don't know how it wasn't making money. This is another one of those places where it's like, how can you run that into the ground? Because it seemed like it was so popular. How could it not be profitable? But now it's basically abandoned. People said that it was going to be like reopened. It's been 2 years now. I think 2 or 3. Anyways, that was my last main point of interest. There's also some regional parks in this area. But now let's head out towards Great Barrier. There's another island that we'll just skim by. So I think this one here is Kawa Island that we're heading towards. This one, which should be, I think, in the background there. This one's called Motuora, I think. This little island. I don't think any islands have trees that stick up like that, so I really need to work on that. Rendering trees at a distance. So we'll go past Kawa Island. Apparently it's a good place to go snorkeling, although I've never been. And then directly behind Kawa Island is Little Barrier Island. So I think that's what we're seeing here. It's quite tall. And then to the right is Great Barrier, which I think might be that whole landmass. Yeah. So it's that whole big landmass. Anyways. So I don't know too much about these little islands, but you might be familiar with them if you go boating in this area. Doesn't look like there's a lot happening here. A good swimmer could maybe swim that distance. I'm not a good swimmer. I could probably drown about here. So if I got stuck there, if my plane went down, it's probably it for me. This looks pretty cool. Could take your little jet ski through here. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't already, getting this game. If you're interested in scenery, flight sims. Like, just seeing the world from this perspective is so cool. And it doesn't need to be hardcore, you can make flying the planes very easy. You can also pick it up with Game Pass. So they've got Xbox Game Pass on PC. And that is only $1 for the first month. And then I think they've got some promotion where it's only $7 for a few months at least. So I was thinking, rather than pay $100 and potentially not play this game very much, I'd get it with Game Pass, and then later on, if I did decide I wanted to keep it permanently, hopefully I can get it on a sale or something like that. So they've really made the barrier to entry very low in terms of the cost of the game. But if you want to play it with a high frame rate, you will need a very expensive computer. Although I don't think a high frame rate's that necessary. I'm only getting 30 frames per second, but it's okay because I'm moving so slowly. I don't really need that extra time to react to anything. Maybe in some of the landings it might be important. So this is Cow Island. I've never been, but a lot of school kids go here for day trips. Probably land on those little jetties. Now we'll start heading towards Littlebury. I potentially could have chosen a faster plane, but this one has such a nice view out of the cockpit when I like flying in the cockpit rather than with the camera. I don't think this one has an autopilot. You might be able to set an autopilot on it even though it doesn't have one with hotkeys. Well, that's not very realistic, is it? I don't actually know how to read this altimeter. I guess big hand might be thousands, 200, maybe we're at 200 feet. Let's see this. Yeah, 280. Okay. I guess we've got some redundancy there in the event of failure. But I quite like this plane. It's pretty fast. And it's really good for just cruising around. Doesn't seem to stall or anything. Landing it is very easy. There's no flaps to worry about. You just have to work out how to trim the plane, and then you're good. Very detailed cockpit. Carbon fiber. Ah. The thing I don't like when you're looking around is zoom is on throttle, but so is adjusting stuff. So while I'm like looking over here, I can adjust it with the scroll wheel, but I'm just trying to zoom in. Don't know about this fit and finish exposed framework. You'd never get away with that inside of a vehicle. Like a car, I mean. This is a vehicle, obviously. Got some little winglets. I guess that's to help with fuel efficiency. Don't really know what this is. I'd say that's a pitot tube for airspeed. Maybe that's related somehow. I think when you hear the wind go loud like this, it means you're getting close to overspeed. Ah, I think my altimeter was off. Probably to do with air pressure and stuff. Interesting. I flew from Whangaparoa to Hamilton yesterday. That was pretty cool. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know. I didn't record that one, but I'll happily fly the route again. I figured out the autopilot on the, I think it's a Cessna jet, 2 engines in this game. I've managed to land that a few times now. Previously I was crashing every time I landed just because it always was going so fast. But I'm figuring out how to use the cabin electronics. I don't like Googling it because I think half the fun is trying to see how user-friendly they are. I feel like in the aircraft design industry, they don't really care too much about like user experience. It's all functional. Like a lot of these are abbreviated when you could just fit like a little thing that says, just like this, how you can hover over it. You could probably mark that a little bit better. FPL, flight plan. Interesting. So this is Little Barrier Island. I don't know if there are people that live on Little Barrier. I know people live on Great Barrier, and they have a plane that goes there at least a few times a week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about how that's changed now. I actually saw it flying over from Auckland Airport on the weekend, and that was after level 3 lockdown had been re-engaged. So I guess it's still operating. That looks very cool. Maybe a bit bland in FS 2020. There's not a lot of detail here. You can see that that beach is probably very nice. I don't know how tall that is, but let's see if we're going. Our altitude's 1700 feet, and it's what, 3 feet to a meter? So 1800 divided by 3. It's maybe 600 meters? I don't know if I'm calculating any of that right. It's probably only like 400 meters. You guys can correct me in the comments and help build engagement. But I'm quite enjoying making videos of Flight Simulator 2020. I like going and exploring these places, and lots of people are enjoying getting to see it before their game's been downloaded, or maybe they can't play it on their computer if it's not good enough. But you may as well give it a go for $1 if you can. I don't think we'll spend too much time around Little Barrier. I don't think there's that much to see. Those cliffs are cool. The terrain geometry seems to be pretty spot on from what I've seen of the places that I'm familiar with. The trees do need some work, and in some places it could be high resolution, but I think that's all gonna get a lot better with time. That's, oh yeah, cool. Narrow centers on the plan. I don't know what that circle means. Is that like an exclusion zone or something? So last time when I landed here, I was looking at the VFR map, and I think the runway goes in this direction, yeah. So it's on this angle. So I'll come in straight and turn about when I see these little puddles. This video is already 34 minutes long, so I don't know if there's too much to see over here. Is that meant to be snow? That is very strange. I'm pretty sure there's no snow in Great Barrier Island. I mean, unless it's that tall. But I have a feeling it's not. So looking at the map, it looks like the sea traffic comes in, I think around here. It goes into this little sheltered area. Let's go have a look down here. It's awesome that you can see a place off in the distance from so far away and then just go there. I've always loved that in games, when they let you do that. It's always been so cool, like in Skyrim when you can see a tall mountain peak and actually climb up there. Open world. And now it's just getting better and better. I'm pretty sure that's like a cloud that was in the satellite picture that's been mapped to the terrain, so it looks like snow. So not the best job of Great Barrier. I guess they don't really prioritize low population areas for the satellite coverage. From afar it looks pretty good though. So there's another aerodrome over there. We want to turn it a little bit more. I'll definitely be playing this in VR. When they add the VR support, I think that will just be next level. I wonder what the performance will be like. So that's the aerodrome that we're going to land at. We can see the angle of the runway, so I probably want to turn in around here. Hopefully you guys that want to see Great Barrier, this is good enough. It doesn't look like there's that much detail anywhere. So, but flying here is a cool little trip. It's not too long. We'll just set up our approach here. Adjust our power a little bit. So someone was saying in the comments that if you don't want it to bounce, you have to touch down at basically like between 70 and 80 knots. And I always seem to touch down at around 100. It seems to be a fine line between speed and stalling and all that. So we'll just try and reduce our speed now until we get to about 100, a little bit less than that. Then we'll push it back up again. This aircraft seems to keep its speed a lot. You can actually see the runway straight ahead from the canopy. Another aircraft like the jets, it's much more difficult. I think our angle's pretty good. The speed's feeling pretty good. I don't think I'm going to fall out of the sky. Okay, we'll just keep cutting our throttle. Get ready to apply the brakes. We're still doing 100. Oh, not bouncing that much. That's alright. Okay, so that was 90. Probably could have been a bit slower. But I think that was pretty successful. I wonder if this screen actually in real life would show you the runway like that. Like, it's so accurate. I feel like in reality it can't be that good. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, if you've watched it the whole way through. I don't know if I'll cut out any of those boring bits. I think most people like to have the full uncut video and they just skip through. But if you want to see more content, just leave a comment with what you want to see and maybe subscribe, and I'll keep making these videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.